Maneva na se ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
You're once again welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally leave a comment at the comment section after watching or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277128777. Thank you. Without much ado, I would like you to join me listening to what we have for you today. And it's all about facts and figures. It's all about politics. The only place that you can hear authentic source of political gist is PENDREAM TV. Please don't waste your time looking elsewhere. This is the best place. Do share to your friends and any platform you belong to as well to have a feel of what is going on. Thank you.
Petitioners calling for the removal of the Chief Justice, the veteran Chachuchikata, who is affiliated with the National Democratic Congress.
Exactly. So it's only Chachuchikata.
And he said, and it says, Thaddeus Sorry is a legal practitioner that has been exempted. Another private lawyer who some claims has ties.
Some claims, that's the MPP claimed. You remember during the vetting.
Some did not.
I'm giving you evidence.
Categorize whether it was the MPP
I'm telling you, I'm giving
the
you
Movement
evidence.
for Change or Dr. Marazuka and his.
I'm giving you evidence that's verifiable. During the vetting, the appointments committee settings, the MPP claimed that Vomawo was NDC. All right, he was invited to Parliament. He denied that flatly. In fact, he said he was affiliated to the CPP. He's never voted for the NDC. He's not an NDC member. And they had to eat humble pie. So for the records, Vomawo is not NDC. So these
so he doesn't have ties with the NDC.
Neither the petitioners
he's not sympathetic towards the NDC.
I'm making this categorical statement because the petitioners nor the lawyers for the petitioners are NDC apart from Chikata. And I think that we should not allow the Daily Guide, which is an MPP paper owned by the former chairman of the MPP, to try and pigeonhole this thing into an NDC MPP, football. Right. Trying to exonerate the Chief Justice for crimes that she's alleged to have committed. We should look at the thing on the face of the law. The law is the law.
And that's what
the
we're
Ghana Bar
looking
Association cannot metamorphose into an MPP appendage to free her. Neither can the MPP as a party try to do this. And their media houses will not be allowed to bastardize this process.
I agree. But is it not very interesting that these three solid men are involved in this matter?
They're not involved. I think that everybody, including even criminals, are entitled to legal representation. And fortunately, these are very qualified lawyers, perhaps overqualified, as you may want to term it. I mean, we know that Chachuchikata has been equated to the legal...
Anyway, good morning to Council Thaddeus. Sorry, I met him at the mini call, was it last 2 weeks? And he's such a nice man in person. I told him, say, you look intimidating on TV, and he was laughing. But he's such a nice man. Shout out to Council Thaddeus, sorry. Please.
Well, for interrupting me.
No, that was just
for interrupting me, praise me.
Yeah, yes, praise be to you.
Or said, am I intimidating?
No, you're
I'm a nice person in person. Anyway, so, it is important to state this for the record, that so far, nobody has been able to point to one single infraction on the part of the president relative to the Article 146 petition that is currently under review. That is that for the removal of the Chief Justice, Justice Tokeno. Indeed, using even the Akufo-Addo standards, which in my view are very low and base. In fact, Akufo-Addo has no standards when it comes to 146 petitions. I have personally had 2 such petitions before him, both of which he has ignored, even though his surrogates in the Occupy Ghana and all those lawyers, Esankoma, what's his name, Kofi Benso, the one he put in the law school, or is it, what's his name?
The director of...
yes. One of his lawyers.
No.
One of those guys, bald, funny guy. Yeah, anyway. I mean, they claimed that, together with Samson Ladi, that the president in Article 146 petition cases is only a conveyor belt. In fact, Ace Nkrumah went further to say that he's actually a postal address. And I recall that they even advised that when you are making such a petition, you copy the chairman of the Council of State, because invariably it must get to him. And so if the president refuses to act on it, at least the Council of State will be aware, and then they will advise him to act on. I did that. Yet Akufo-Addo for 2 years refused to act on the Article 146 petition against Sophia Akufu for taking our lands for 7,000 Ghana cedis in cantonments, and yet sit on Jacob Echebilante's land issue in Ridge. You know, I mean, etc., etc. And there was a tall list of people who had looted. Most of them have been caught by the oral thing. Fine, their day in court will come. But I'm saying that it's not surprising at all that when the thing went to the Council of State, that one person opted not to support that, you know, prima facie case that was established. I mean, your guess is as good as mine who it would be that they decided not to join the 30 persons who are forming our Council of State. Okay, so if 1 out of 30 does not support this, that means that it's a clear case. And so you cannot fault the president for moving ahead on the advice of the Council of State that a prima facie case has been established against Justice Gertrude Tokeno. All right? And I'll bring us to a certain other situation. I remember during Georgina Wood's tenure, there was an Article 146 petition, which I had a hand in. Again, it was about her having taken over some land, the International Students Hostel, which is not too far from here. The airport, the National Students Hostel, that's where the Foreign Affairs headquarters currently is. She and Adjei, who is making a lot of noise today, Katie Hammond, and others, including lawyers. In fact, there were judges also. I remember there was Adjei, and then the one at the International Criminal Court, what's her name? The name will come. There were several of them who took over that land. That land is a World Heritage Site. In fact, the International Student Hostel during Nkrumah's era was used to train a lot of African leaders to go and liberate their countries. We are talking about today Sankara and others for the good works they've done. Nkrumah was churning out a whole factory to ensure that we had African leaders capable of rescuing Africa from the shackles of colonialism. I mean, that was what it represented. And some people decided that that land or that thing should be owned by them. And these are lawyers and judges who have been acting on Article 25 and 6 and denying original landowners, pre-acquisition owners of their lands. Aberrations like this. These people should have no space. In fact, they should not go near any courts or be party to our legal system or jurisprudence. And yet, these people are overseeing our courts. So when you have an Article 146 petition against a chief, it's a very serious matter. Because who presides over the courts of Ghana? All the courts of Ghana. Who empanels judges even at the highest court? It is that same person. In fact, I want to thank Professor Mills, even though he didn't take Georgina Wood through the process. At least got her to confirm that indeed she had been given that, and she returned. In fact, she extinguished her interest in that land because she got a phone call that she had been offered the land. She didn't have money, so she exchanged it with her cheap Akwiteman land for prime airport land. That thing was taken from all of them, including Adjei and those who are making noise today, and given back to Foreign Affairs because it was Foreign Affairs land. We didn't make any fight about it because we gave it for Foreign Affairs purposes. The land was given to government of Ghana for Foreign Affairs purposes. So if it's going to be used to build a Foreign Affairs complex to replace that which Akufo-Addo bent during his tenure as foreign minister, got bent under his watch as foreign minister. You remember that passport fraud, the one that the drug barons and those people were, then the place got bent under his watch. So that was a replacement. That is fair. She was let off the hook. I wish that matter had gone further. But fine, at least Ghana has secured the land back for Ghana for the Foreign Affairs. In this particular instance, what is at stake? In fact, note also that the president has been circumspect all this while. The president has not divulged anything to do with the contents of any of the petitions. Right. That should be on record, because when it comes to Article 146 petitions against chief justices, there is a much higher standard. In the case of, let's say, the Electoral Commissioner and the Strike Boards, which have been successful in the past, that's Charlotte Osei and Vivian Lamptey, okay? Those ones, it is not kept secret. The information can be out there, and it was out there, and the charges were made known to Ghanaians, and then subsequently they were removed. Most people thought the Charlotte Osei one was wrong. And of course, we have another article 146 petition pending against the EC boss. Those who think that there's nothing against her. It's been pending since 2021, 21st January.
I think maybe we should settle that of the CJ.
I'm just putting these things side by side.
Controversy, yeah.
No, I'm just putting this side by side.
We're discussing lands.
No.
No, he was actually linking it to.
I'm saying the crimes that the people committed.
And the petitions that have been leveled against.
You see, there must be a good reason for getting somebody out. Now, because you mentioned the land issue, the land manager had petitioned the president on our lands that were being stolen, and then threatened that we're going to go to court. Whose court were we going to go to? Who was going to preside over that? Which chief justice was going to panel? And so it was necessary to have the chief justice removed because she herself was complicit. That is the basis. And so if somebody says that that does not form prima facie or it is not a grave enough conduct of misbehavior, then what else can be? So the standard and the bar had been met and over exceeded. In her instance, we are hearing that, what's the title? They said what? Suspended chief justice cited in fresh corruption scandal.
Yeah.
What are these corruption scandals? I'm sure you would enlighten us. But I've heard former Speaker of Parliament, Michael Quay, Professor Reverend Michael Quay, say that he thinks that this whole thing should be stopped unless it is made public, even though the Constitution says that the contents of the petitions should not be made public. She thinks that the trial should be made public.
It's actually the Constitution that dictates that it should be an in-camera process.
Exactly, but here is a Speaker of Parliament, a member of the NDP.
But she herself also made that demand.
That she wants the
president and every other thing that pertains to this subject matter is known to the public. So why don't they make the procedure public? So
they are saying to us that we should disregard what the Constitution expressly says.
But the committee says they are inclined to the dictates of the Constitution.
Yes, so
they weren't going to
listen to these people again. No. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. The person who says the law is the law is agreeing with people who are saying the most absurd thing. In fact, even this should be.
The law has to be the law. So we have to uphold the rule of law as high as we can.
No, that's treasonable.
The law is for the poor.
No, you see, it is treason to overturn the Constitution, whether aspects of it or in full. Correct?
So she's coming from the tangent of, okay, everything that pertains to this
Who made it public?
It's made public. In as much as the Constitution says it should be behind closed doors. It is known to the public. So why don't you make every other thing concerning it public
regardless
as well?
of what the Constitution says? She is not fit to be a chief justice. She is not fit to be a judge if she thinks that the Constitution should be overturned because of reason A or B. When there's a constitutional review process in works, why doesn't she rather advise the constitutional review the same people that going forward because of this, that, do this? She knows better than that. I don't think she said what you are saying she said. I am disbelieving you on this one.
It's actually here.
If she said that, then that should constitute new grounds for a petition for her removal.
Let me read that. Says the Council of State, after considering 3 separate petitions filed by a private citizen, Daniel Fore, senior police officer, Ajama Akologo, and a group calling itself Shining Stars. Okay, is that failed injunction on May 6th, 2025, the Supreme Court by a 3-2 majority decision. I'm not sure if that's where it is, but somewhere here.
Let me take your word on it since the time is running.
Acting President reversing warrant, refused application which sought to order the President to revoke suspension of the Chief Justice. The court did not give a full reason, but okay. Before that, it's captured somewhere here.
Never mind, I'll take your word for it. I've known you in the past. Yes, okay.
The report said Justice Stokonu's request was, however, turned down by the committee, which indicated that since Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution demands that the committee sitting be held in camera, they are inclined to abide by the dictates of the Constitution. Preceding that, the paragraph preceding that says she is said to have justified her request by noting that all the processes leading to the formation of the committee and the probe had already gone public in spite of the constitutional demand.
But you see, well, even though I take your word, I can't take it from where it's the sources. And it's saying that it is
indicating that she
guide.
But they are indicating that she made the request.
No, they
that
guide.
everything that
Daily
concerns
Guide,
should
that
be made
line
public.
newspaper, Daily Guide. Tell you, forget this one. If I hear from the woman herself, I will personally write a petition for her removal. If I hear from herself,
maybe we can find sources.
so let's
on which
find out whether she did say that, and if she did say that, I will also file a petition for her removal because she cannot be asking for the constitution to be overturned. If Speaker Michael Quay is asking for the constitution to be overturned, he is no longer in office, but she is currently suspended but still actively in office, and so it will be grounds for her removal. So she should not say that. She should recant that if she did say that. Now, you've heard the MPP, the Bar Association, and their surrogates say all manner of things trying to overturn the constitution when it comes to this particular Chief Justice. Every single aspect of this they want to overturn and say that, oh, she should be allowed to go. Come on. Look, lawyers and judges, when found culpable of the law, should be the last to be excused. You know why? People say ignorance of the law is no excuse when it comes to the ordinary man. Who knows the law? Isn't the person who has gone through legal training? You are a legal student, right? You even as a student, if you infringe, you must be held higher than him because he's not a legal student. So if your lecturer, who is a lawyer, infringes, he should know better. Now the practitioners, including especially those who pass judgments, those who have incarcerated people for life, for death, and so on, and the people who empanel those who incarcerate them, who should be let off the hook? So the Chief Justice, the highest bar, when it comes to Article 146, should hit her. Why are they lowering the bar for her? The Ghana Bar Association, why are you lowering the bar? In fact, they've lowered the bar itself. Not just the bar, but the bar, the Ghana Bar Association has been lowered.
Which of the bars?
The Bar Association. Maybe they were drunk. But the point is that the MPP French of the Ghana Bar Association, who went and met in that mid-term whatever conference, that was rained off. I understand there was lightning and thunder. Most people left. It was just a few people, about 20 or so people out of about 5,000, membership. They met, and then they decided to say what they said. I think that association must be looked critically at. But look, bottom line is that the process must go on. Yes, there's great public interest in the matter. However, I think that we should respect the constitution. It is different from when it comes to case. The courts itself, most of their sittings are not publicized, right? But there have been instances where it's been waived. I recall a few where the Chief Justice has had to waive. But those are not constitutional. That court sittings should be in camera. But why do the courts think that some of their things even should be in camera? So if they can respect the fact that even court sittings, and if you dare go to even the High Court and attempt to video the sitting live without you are in contempt of the court. You can be thrown, summarily in jail. So why do people like this think the way they think and say the things they say? Why?
So are you saying that her knowledge of the law should intensify the degree of her sanctions?
Of course, and herself being the one who does not only practice, but is at the top of it. Now, to the allegations that have been made against her, the corruption charges. If you recall, in the case of the Shraj boss, it wasn't about corruption per se, but I think they said, well, technically corruption because misappropriation of state funds amounts to corruption. And she did not misappropriate the money. She is said to have misapplied the money or something to that extent, as in buying curtains and furnishings for her office building, not for her personal use. Okay. In this instance, there are allegations of some travel things that were not done according to due process because they had a policy. Policies are, for me, not strict laws. Policies are loose laws, but they are still binding in the corporate setup where you operate. And so for me, the judicial secretary who resigned should be brought back and dealt with.
She's a judge now.
No, I'm coming to that. That's 146 petitions. The paper don't finish. Pen finish, ink finish. Ink no finish. Let them go and be the judge. So she will have to come back and be dealt with on this matter as whether she okayed for the variation from having your security person travel with you or have your husband and daughter travel with you, and then the per diem angle and so on. I understand there are some people, Operation Recover All Loot, who are now willing to pay back their loot and so on. In fact, people are rushing. There's a mad rush to pay the loot. So if they are minded to also refund those monies, that would be good. The next thing is that 4th June is coming. 4th June is coming.
Yeah.
Mass arrest will happen. 4th June. It will be chaotic.
I'm not taking your word seriously.
This is a deadline. People have flown. You haven't heard that people are flying out of town. I heard about 6 or 7 went last week to Brussels. Many are, have bought tickets. Look, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Whatever it is, and in this particular instance, that so-called what do you call it? Single source contracts that the Chief Justice is alleged to have engineered for a company known as what? Design 37.
Yes.
Oh, so that's your company name. The company name you were responding to in the morning.
No,
I mean in the beginning of the show.
Do you know the funny thing? Most of the corruption scandals, the companies that they choose.
All right.
There was one called Talent Sons of the boss.
Yes.
That's just so funny names.
Frank, can you wrap up for us?
When you want to decide to steal our
Can you please wrap up for us? So that I
so
invite.
if indeed it is true, I haven't seen those documents, and I have not heard her attest to those. But if indeed it is true, and someone says that there's no prima facie case, I think the person is mad. That's what I'm saying.
So the school of thought is not only about the fact that there's no prima facie case, but also
if the evidence exists.
The whole process is undue. It's unfounded.
Who said that?
I mean, school of thoughts.
No, when you say school of thought, you're mentioning it.
I have mentioned it.
Look, you see, the Constitution says that you must be of sound mind to occupy some positions. Adjei should never have been MP.
And you have the facts.
If you are of sound mind,
that he's not of sound mind.
No. You are of sound mind. Tell me.
I am of sound mind.
Okay, let's leave it.
You have his medical record.
No, I'm saying that we must take this sound mind constitutional ethic very seriously.
It's getting
It is a requirement, though.
It's getting more. It's getting more exciting in here. Thought-provoking, very insightful as well. Our Facebook viewers are trickling in the messages. Says that good morning, Ohima from Kucho Menshia Zongo. He says, please, I don't think sharing whatever with Burkina Faso should be something strange, because we share a lot in common, especially fighting for independence for Ghana. Patrick M. Ingetia says, good morning, Ohima. All right, more coming in. Let me read a few messages and bring Solo and Dr. Marazuk in on this subject matter. So says, good morning, Pan-African TV. The NPP and its affiliates are pushing for public hearing, knowing very well it is unconstitutional in order to take the president to court for violating the Constitution. All right, thank you for your message. And please, the number is not for calls. I see people coming through with the calls, and we appreciate that you are engaging with us. However, would like to hear from you via text message or WhatsApp. This message says, hi Ohima, I remember when Solo was in the NPP and how I used to get agitated and pissed just because he knows the truth, but yet spewing propaganda just because of the party's interest. I'm glad and always.
What I've been doing
Solo, he has more to say. Let me just end it. I'm glad and always stay on channels wherever I see him nowadays. He's now been honest and straightforward, and I'm really enjoying this version of him.
It's moved on. It's a movement.
I disagree with him entirely. I have always behaved so, but because I was coming to this studio under the banner of the MPP, they were prejudiced. Before I even speak, sometimes I could come to Adjei, I hadn't even spoken. People will start testing. But what is he saying? I said, come on.
Maybe you were thinking your life was off.
All right, Edward Dubaja says it appears we allow MPP to set the agenda everywhere. In the trial of the Chief Justice, if MPP is complaining about NDC lawyers being prosecutors, which lawyers are defending the Chief Justice? The law is the law. Kweku La Paz. Thank you for your messages, but keep them coming. Ibrahim Abdul Karim Jabbar, he says CJ is corrupt, and you can be a part of the message, the conversation as well, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. We'll read your messages as the conversations go on. But Solo, let me bring you on this subject matter. Concerning Chikata Vomawo and Sorry representing the petitioners of the removal of the CJ.
So it is not out of place, first of all, to have Chikata Vomawo and Tadio Sorry representing the petitioners. They are lawyers, and just like any other Ghanaians, I can go and engage their services. We have engaged the services of Tadio Sorry before when I was in the MPP for Madam Vicky Bright. We had an issue with Ahmedata, then the MP for Kakwe South, and Tadio Sorry was our legal representative or counsel. So it is very normal. You see, one thing people are failing to acknowledge with this whole thing is that they are treating the petitioners as people who do not know their left from right. That people that are just being called into or have been pushed to petition to remove a Chief Justice. It is important that the Ghanaian watching this morning is made aware of those that are petitioning, as to whether they are people who can just be moved around or about by any whims and caprices of any political authority. One of the petitioners, there are 3 petitioners in this matter. We have Daniel Ofori, we have DSP Ayamga, and we have the Shining Star people.
He is a lawyer and representing himself. DSP.
Ayamga. Yes, and I don't think he's malleable like that. If you know Ayamga, he's a very tough customer that will never petition on a flimsy excuse. Mr. Daniel Ofori, he's one of the wealthiest people we have in this country. People don't know. He has shares in almost all the big banks that are in this country. He has shares in EcoBank, shares in Car Bank, shares in Societe Generale, shares in SIC. But when he's working here, if you don't tell you that this is Mr. Daniel Ofori, you will never appreciate. So who can better have an interest in this country, and for that matter, the cause of justice, than someone who invests hugely or heftily in our economy? Who in the NDC or within the presidency can just go and move Mr. Daniel Ofori about and tell him that, Mr. Ofori, we want you to go and do our bidding? Who? In fact, his political lineage is to the MPP. So if there was anybody that wanted to play politics with the removal of the CJ, I don't think Daniel Ofori would ever allow himself to be used by this administration to get rid of the Chief Justice. If you read what he has said, the petition he sent, he raises 21 allegations of misbehavior. 21! 4 allegations of incompetence. So you cannot just throw it away like that. And mind you, his allegations are centered on a case that is currently in court involving himself as Daniel Ofori versus EcoBank. And if you take your time and go and read how the case started somewhere in 2008 and still is pending in court, it will tell you that there are certain matters that has to be addressed. And I see Daniel Ofori's petition as a petition that can liberate the business community in this country, that can liberate investors in this country, depending on how it goes. So we must always not throw away concerns of people. After all, he is operating within the confines of the law. The law allows any citizens. And I also disagree with anybody that thinks that it must be difficult to remove a Chief Justice. It must be the easiest job. It must be easy to remove the President of the land. It must be so easy to remove the Speaker of Parliament. I myself, I want the Speaker of Parliament to be removed. You remember the committee that he set on the MPs that went and destroyed chairs and microphones? What has happened to it?
Martin decided not to
in fact, he and his MPP caucus decided to boycott and make it impossible. They said they were going to make Parliament ungovernable, disruptive, and so on.
Yeah,
so
they did not.
And the chief justice, the speaker is supposed to act sat aloof. So if I petition,
complicity or irresponsibility.
absolutely. So if I say I'm going to petition for his removal, why must it be difficult for the speaker to be removed?
But then
You have two options here.
But that's fine. That's
complicity or irresponsibility.
But then why ending words?
It must not be. It must not be. Is it difficult to put in place a chief justice? No. The president nominates in consultation with the Council of State. The nominee goes to Parliament. He or she is vetted. She becomes the chief justice. Is it complicated? Why has it been difficult to remove it?
Once there's a prima facie.
And then the prima facie has been established. Nobody is interrogating the threshold for which that prima facie case was established. But that is also not the problem of the President and the Council of State, because the Constitution does not mandate them to make it public to us. And just like a PDA was saying, why would anybody that believes in the rule of law now call for the proceedings to be held in the full glare of the public when the Constitution says it has to be held in camera? And the Chief Justice, the embattled Chief Justice, had known this all this while. What has been her position on this matter? So at best, what anybody calling for openness could do is to write a proposal to the Constitutional Review Committee, so that the amendments or the revisions that they are envisaging will include making the processes of removing any Chief Justice open to the general public. But for now, you cannot just in the middle of the ocean come and tell us that we must disregard the Constitution. When the embattled Chief Justice has already told us the law is the law. No matter how furious you are, the law is the law. We subject ourselves to judges for them to do anything. You are being trained as a lawyer. I go to court a lot. And when you go there, sometimes the humiliation, the judge that will be speaking to you as though he or she was created in a different world. Sometimes they speak garbage. But we take it as the gospel truth because they are mandated under the law to do what they are doing. We have been disagreeing with them all this while, but you can't kill them. You can't do anything because they are operating.
But you have the right under the Constitution and Article 2 to, if you have any challenge, to seek redress.
A lot of rights.
The Supreme Court.
We have a lot of rights under the Constitution.
Or even administrative injustice.
That is why this one I was telling you that the laws are meant for the poor. It is not for the rich. Because if
but there are institutions that have been put in place to protect you.
The Constitution and Article 36 tells you that the state shall take all necessary action to ensure that national economy is managed in such a manner as to maximize the rate of economic development to secure the maximum welfare, freedom and happiness of every person. And are you happy this morning? What it means is that if your pocket is dry, you must be able to.
That's under the directive of state principles of state.
Have you been able to actualize this?
But I'm saying that if you have a problem, with the judicial system or how some administrative processes did not go your way, you can read Article 33.
I have been petitioning them. A lot of judges, they don't deserve to go nearer. They not just below, they must not even go closer to becoming judges.
And you have the right to.
But the rights are not respected by people. That's why you need cleansing of the judiciary.
Reset.
I'm telling you.
Not the cleansing of the revolution.
Using the legal means itself to clean it. The threshold for a judge, the bar, must be so high.
Yeah.
They are kron. You know kron, Merade. Holy Chief Justice. If what we are told by the Daily Post is anything to go by, though I have cited some documents to that effect, then the woman has a lot of issues to deal with. I had advised in the early days, knowing what I know on the street, that she would have been better served by quietly negotiating and exiting office.
You mean resign?
Resigning. You understand? Because you see, government has the machinery to be able to dig you in and out. The judiciary, the people that you are there with, you have a lot of enemies with this. So everybody that was happy that Chief Justice Tokoni was at position. So some of your omissions and commissions will definitely be known by them, and they will be willing to leak. And let us not also forget that the decision of the petition to remove this Chief Justice or the Mbati Chief Justice started under President Akufo-Addo. Professor Kwaku Azan's petition was solid enough, but the former president played with it. If you go and read the reason why a prima facie case was not established, according to President Akufo-Addo, you will laugh. He spent more time castigating Professor Kwaku Azan for making the petition available when Professor Kwaku Azan said he did not make it available to the general public. And that the president was looking for laws within our statutes that can punish Professor Kwaku Azan for even allowing his petition to be made public. He wasn't concerned about the gravity of the issues that Professor Kwaku Azan was raising, but rather how the thing managed to get into the public domain. But if I bring you a petition, if I bring a petition to the presidency and it gets leaked, can you blame Professor Kwaku Azan alone for leaking it? Can't it be a situation where it came from you, or it could come from anywhere? The president was majoring in the manners.
Or the council of
Please
state.
for us, sir.
Sam Okujeto, who was the head.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So clearly, there is something in motion, and I'm so happy. And at the end of the day, it is fairness that some of us are looking out. Whether the woman has to be treated in all fairness. But if I were her, she still has an opportunity to resign and go home and enjoy her retirement. But if she will still follow these lawyers, these MPP guys who have tasted power and knows how sweet it is, and think that with these 2x4 they can come back to power when the movement for change is now metamorphosing into a political party, then I'm afraid they are not going to get anywhere.
Right. Thank you very much, Solo. We are still discussing the CJ removal and that Chikata Voma or sorry represent petitioners for this case. Dr. Marazuka is coming in. After his submission, I'm going to read the messages that are coming through on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and so you can be sending your messages as well while the submissions are flowing. But Dr. Marazuka, before anything you plan to say, what do you think the outcome, given the involvement of these three formidable legal practitioners, what do you think the outcome of this whole matter is going to be like?
Well, the outcome will be very interesting, and I believe that in the supreme interest of the nation, the outcome should rather constitute a strong consolidation of the rule of law and democracy. First of all, let me say that with all due respect, it's very unfortunate that almost everything in this country is viewed from the lenses of NDC MPP duopoly. Right. And that is exactly why some people try to see something wrong with the choice of the counsel and lawyers by the petitioners. You are a law student. The law is clear. Every Ghanaian has every right to choose every lawyer. Even if you believe that that lawyer does not share a kind of philosophy or ideology with you, but can do the job for you, it is your right to choose that lawyer. So Ghanaians should understand this. This is a simple reality about legal practice. And it is the constitutional right of the petitioners to choose lawyers they think can do their work. Therefore, I do not see why people try as much as possible to discredit the choice of the lawyers. So, that one is clear. Two, let's also caution that in matters such as this, and I'm learning from you, those of you in the legal fraternity, we are told that in every meaningful adjudication, the perception of bias cannot be decoupled from the reality of bias.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah, the likelihood is
Yes.
actually the test.
Exactly. So, my appeal to Ghanaians, my appeal to the lawyers, my appeal to those handling the case is that they must conduct themselves in a manner that will not at all bring to the fore any iota of bias against anybody, either against the petitioners or against the person petitioned against, or I'm referring to the Chief Justice.
Or their lawyers.
They are lawyers.
As has been done by the
Let's use this as another opportunity for us to reaffirm our commitment to proper rule of law and constitutional democracy. I strongly believe that at the end of the day, Ghana will benefit if it is conducted very well. The Chief Justice is alleged to have committed things that are not correct. So let that be allegation. Until those allegations are proven by a legitimately constituted commission or body, let's give her every opportunity to defend herself. And if she wants to listen to Solo, which I also suggest, I think it is good for her. If she wants to listen to Solo and listen to me,
Don't listen to us.
then she should resign.
And the NDP someone has sent me something. The reason why people want this thing to be made public, as in like shown on
come to
TV,
that.
to be shown on TV.
Yes.
They want this thing to engage the attention of Ghanaians, so not only for them to play political football, but to divert attention from the ECG container scandal and the various other scandals, including even Operation Recover All, because Ghanaians will glue to a single issue and then they can walk off. Thank you very much, but it won't happen.
All right, so thank you. But if it will not happen, you should also start prosecuting those people.
Yes.
Yeah, you are sure.
The other tribunals are coming.
Yes.
When are they coming? When are they coming?
Let them come.
When are they
It's a
coming?
movement.
I thought you were going to tell me the people have come. As for our coming progressive, we are not interested in that. We want a situation where
Government now.
now.
Tell government now.
Yes, now, what do you for?
Yes.
So you have earmarked June 4th for that
Oh,
action.
no, June 4th is a good day.
Oh. That's validation. That's very, very, very valid.
Let's also not use constitutional means to glorify an unconstitutional conduct.
Yes.
By military, by some by June 4.
But June 4, we know what we celebrate on June 4. So if you want to
Sorry, we're talking about trying.
After praising him
Yes.
for hard work,
Yes.
for competency,
Yes.
I appeal to him
Yes.
to return the nation to
But
constitutional
June
order.
stands for probity and accountability.
Oh, but what probity and accountability did it?
No, don't worry. I said, independence of Ghana, what I said about us.
No.
But it stands for freedom and justice.
So
every event stands for something.
That's what I'm saying. You see, I started by saying that.
Accountability.
Yes.
Who accounted to who?
To who?
She's going to account to us.
please carry on with your submission. Round it up.
So please, I mean, the Chief Justice should be given every opportunity to defend herself,
Yeah.
and those who are trying to politicize everything should desist from that. Again, we are talking of I'm surprised. I don't want to believe that the Chief Justice actually made a suggestion that is contrary to the constitutional provision. I don't want to believe that. But if she did, then we could pardon her maybe out of frustration. Yeah, of course, because
Frustration.
yes, the
She's
chief administrator,
frustrated.
of course.
Somebody said he was
We have to be very empathetic.
Look, even I.
So that's why she wasn't thinking straight.
Yes, even I.
Thinking straight.
Not person
out
in
of
law. I'm not.
frustration.
Not be on sound.
Remember.
That's not what we are doing. That's how we know you are misconstruing the whole thing.
No,
He's trying to say out of frustration. I mean, out of frustration, you can say and do things.
Somebody got some shakes to do some bad thing. And he said he was not thinking straight.
No,
it was
right.
not sound
Well,
right.
we can't pardon her. I agree with Dr. We can't pardon her. If she actually made this.
It's just simple mischief. Sound mind.
I will appeal on the right one. I'm even using an if clause, a conditional clause. In the first place, I don't even believe that she said that. Yes, I don't believe that. But if she did, then we could pardon her because that could be out of frustration. I cannot understand how I cannot understand how.
Imagine being in her shoes right now, and so maybe we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Of she being a certain. She didn't say that. Okay.
Are you now her defense lawyer? Are you a defense lawyer?
It's actually a very.
Are you the defense lawyer?
And I saw how Justice Bafuboni acted. I said, this position is sweet.
As you speak, someone is there.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a prayer, let's put emotions aside. I cannot understand how the number one protector of constitutional sanity will call for something that is unconstitutional. And that is why I am suggesting that if she did, then we should pardon her.
No,
that should be.
Article 146 petition must come.
Yes. Oh, it has come. It has already come. So
a new one must come.
Okay, no problem. So that will be out of.
That request was overturned by the committee, so I think it's something.
Yes. So it's even there.
No, but she should come and confirm or deny that she even put in that because I don't trust the delegate.
But please, why are you disturbing me this morning? You want us to start?
Let's allow Doc to wrap it up for us.
He wants us to start. All right. So at the end of the day, I am appealing for justice to be seen, and let's not be so much disturbed about what is happening. I strongly believe that no matter how it is, depending on how we handle it, at the end of the day, it will be another feature of the consolidation of constitutional democracy and the rule of law in this country. Thank you.
Justice should be actually done, not just seen as done.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much to our panelists.
Is the house flooded?
No. The house can be flooded.
But I'm just seeing images of people's homes and some places.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that, but I want to hear what our viewers have to say also.
So,
See that power?
Is the house flooded?
So what happens to the claim by NADMO?
No,
and the so-called task force.
No, Siladapa was giving money
when people's houses are flooded.
Gutters and drains.
You see why I was very cautious in quoting them. I was very cautious.
Okay.
But
let's hear what our viewers have to say on this one. Says, good morning all. The law is the law, so let the law take its course. And it is also alleged that the daughters of the suspended Chief Justice are found of serious scandals. It is popping up, and if it is true, then Madam Tokonu should go. From Amos in Asin Fusu. All right, thank you, Amos. I do not know.
4 or 3.
Okay. This one says.
4 + 3 is 7. So 3 is design.
All of them are for you.
So you are decoding the company name and how it is linked to. Oh,
it's numbers.
No, it's not. It's not a company.
And the amount involved is what?
156,000.
You know the thing of handle.
Money is a serious matter. It's a business person. But I want to know, does the company belong to her? No, from documents that I've seen, it belongs to the daughters.
Like there's your number.
If the documents are anything to go by.
Okay, let's hear what our viewers have to say. Aben is saying, dear him, I kindly extend my limitless thanks to Dr. Marazuk. He did me good. All right, thank you. Dr. Marazuk.
What's the name of the lady?
Aben. It's a man. Prince. Okay, this one says Al-Hassan, this coming from Al-Hassan from Nyohini South. I wonder why the removal of the Chief Justice worries MPP more than the Chief Justice herself. Okay, thank you very much. I'm not sure of that, but okay. Good morning, Ohima and your panelists. Please, we are tired of the numerous press conferences the micro-minority are engaging themselves in. The MPs who are being pushed to do those press conferences are being watched by their constituents. We are waiting for them. Don't be disgracing us. Charles from Japan. Okay, thank you very much, Charles. Good morning, Ohima. It's been a while, yeah, with you on set. Yes, I know, right? The CJ is really causing more harm to herself than good. The NPP can walk from Accra to Hamile in protests against her removal, but she must go, and when found guilty, remember the law is the law. Soglo Ibrahim, thank you very much for your message. This one says, Chikata, to educate the justices once again. There's no more unanimous FM scores. Good morning from Bolga East, Maradona, Dr. Dominic Aine. To Bolga East Maradona, Dr. Bolga and Dr. Dominic, Dr. Dominic Aine East Maradona.
Bolga announcement.
That's what they say. Ericus from Zarungu. Okay, thank you very much. Let me do 2 more from WhatsApp and then we go to Facebook. Good morning, Ohima. Question: who are the lawyers representing the CJ? Question back. I really don't understand this NPP people on the petition. Are they trying to say the CJ is bigger than our constitution? Let's allow the law to work. The law is the law. Don Kelly, DC Primary 2A branch organizer. All right, thank you very much, Don. Let me see what our Facebook engagers are saying. This one says, interesting. Says Dr. Marzuk, tell Solo democracy is not religious. I don't know what that means, but Musa Abatwa, I commend the government for its relentless effort to stabilize the city, especially in these challenging economic times. The appreciation of the city is a clear reflection of strategic interventions like the Gold for Reserves initiative. Kudos to the economic management team, the Ministry of Finance, and the Gold Board for their coordinated work in ensuring macroeconomic stability and restoring confidence in the currency. Thank you very much.
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciates your time once again. And we say God bless you for the good work you are doing and continue to do for us. Thank you for having the trust in us. Thank you for choosing us as well. God bless you all. Please do share to your friends as well. Subscribe also for more videos. Thank you.
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.